Intelligent Ramblings with your host, Bill Lofton, co-hosted by Gary Glenn and William Howington, with help from John Coleman.
Well, hey there. Welcome to Intelligent Ramblings. I'm Bill Lofton. I'm your host, and this is a special edition of Intelligent Ramblings. We're coming to you late because the president just finished talking and giving his farewell kind of speech, but not farewell yet, but what his plans are for the next 6 months and whatnot, and the fact that he admirably decided that it was time for him to go so he could unite the party. I'm with my co-host, William Howington, John Cone, and Gary Glenn. So, guys, did anybody watch the speech? What do you think? What'd you think, Gary?
I thought he did strike a note of reconciliation and unification. I think he probably wound up doing the right thing as far as the party was concerned. It certainly could not have gone along the way it was. People kept saying, well, it's up to the president. And he kept saying, well, I want to stay in the race. And then they'd say, well, it's up to the president, which obviously was a hint that you need to get out. And the fact is 4 more years probably would have done him in. And the vice president would have been president anyway. So this sort of just hastens things up. And I think it wasn't a bad speech. Very short, to the point. And he was trying to tell what he had done, made his case for continuing his programs, which you will see Kamala Harris do, because it's more about platform than it is any one individual at this stage of the game. This is almost unprecedented. Remember Lyndon Johnson, back at the end of his term, after he took over for Kennedy and won, he said he would not run again. But he did that in March. So this is unprecedented this late in the game. And now it causes everybody to have to pick. It causes the Democrats to have to now rally behind Harris. And it causes the Republicans to try to dig up on her. You've probably seen some of the attack ads already been running. But Trump was ready to debate Joe Biden again, and had functioned and focused a lot of his intent on meeting the president again. Now he's no longer there, and he's going to have to deal with a much, much younger person. Remember, Trump's no spring chicken either. He's only 3 years younger than Biden.
Yeah.
So now it's determined. It is kind of funny to watch the Democrats start attacking somebody for their age when they had just had to endure the same thing from the Republicans. It's politics is a strange game, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah,
ridiculous. Trump may not be young, but he certainly doesn't have dementia like Biden.
Oh, Biden doesn't have dementia. You know what? I got a damn email just recently from somebody, and they were talking about the fact that Kamala Harris, one of their conspiracy theorist writers online, said that Kamala had made a mistake and had failed at her job because she didn't come out and say, Joe is demented, Joe is sick, Joe is this, Joe is that. Well, all she did was her job, and that was to back up the president in every presence. That's what her job is, to back up the president and take care of him. And when I told this fella that sent me this email was, hey, you know, the Republican Party is really showing their ass right now. You know, to have a president that admirably gives up the chance to be president again because for party unity and what he says is what's best for the country, and then to have the little pipsqueak Mike Johnson. He's a little turd. I like him one time. I really, really don't like that guy, and I wish he'd stand up in front of me and say something, because I'd knock his ass out. I really don't like him. But Mike Johnson, the next day after President Biden decides not to run, is going, well, if he can't run for president, then he can't lead. Well, by God, he's going to lead for the next 6 months, asshole. Get over it.
Well, just tell us how you feel, Bill.
Yeah, man.
That's kind of a spurious argument about, well, if he can't. No, he can't do the job for 4 more years and 6 months.
I don't think
Maybe
he can do the job for 6 months. Something's wrong with him. He's sick.
He's had COVID. He's been sick. He had COVID. He's been sick.
Well, it's not COVID. There's something wrong with his mind.
I don't think so. I think he's as fit as a damn fiddle for somebody that's 80, whatever years old he is, and that he will do a fine job for the next 6 months. He's a lame duck president. There ain't a whole hell of a
He
lot.
can't do a whole lot worse than what he's done.
I don't know. Look at Trump. Voted in the bottom 2 of the worst presidents that have ever served the United States. Donald Trump was I wish I had the statistics in front of me, but they did a survey of 100 of the minds in America, and they asked 1 to 100 how good the presidents served. Trump got 99, or I think Herbert Hoover or somebody like that was worse, or somebody that died.
Carter wasn't worse.
Carter was a phenomenal president.
Oh,
Carter was a great president. Jimmy Carter from the great state of Georgia was a fine president.
he's a nice guy and he's a fine man, but he was a terrible president.
I don't think so. I think he was a great president.
I think he's a better ex-president than he was president.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, but he's been a great ex-president. But even Trump he's even been a bad ex-president. So, I mean, 34 felonies.
Yeah, but those were
He's
trumped
a sexual
up,
predator. Do you know that Trump cannot live near a school in Georgia? He's a sexual predator.
Who said he was a sexual predator?
He got convicted for it. He
When?
lost his case.
You talking about this last case
Well,
No,
up in New York?
No, I'm talking about that woman, that said he harassed her and groped her in the dressing room in New York City 20 years ago.
No.
He has to pay her millions and millions and millions of dollars.
I wish you'd grope me then, if you get millions of dollars.
All right, I spoke to Jay Johnson today, so let's get some of his comments in here. And it's also her job to invoke the 25th Amendment. I just went over that.
Yeah, she should have. Or should have. She should still do it.
He didn't step down when he was forced out. Yeah, he was forced out because of all the whinies. Fit as a fiddle. Bill, clean your glasses. Hey, dude, I'm a photographer. My glasses are shiny clean. I can see through the glass. You've been drinking the damn Kool-Aid too much, Joel.
Well, he's right. Something's not right with Biden.
All right, I caught you up, Joel. Hey, my discussion with Jay Johnson today, he reiterated the fact that when we make a comment, that it takes him he's got to type out his response, and so I'm gonna delay a little bit, so I'll make sure you get your comments in there a little bit sooner. You're not as tight, William.
I think that's for sure.
Touche. Okay. All right, we got going to here tonight. I see it. Our number dropped to 3. Jay Johnson may have jumped off. You know how those Republicans are. They can talk it, but they don't talk it. Anyway, John, what do you got to say about all this? John Cone.
I'll be brief because hello. I'll be brief. So,
turn your volume down a little bit.
From what I have seen and read about Biden's address, I didn't see the whole address, but it looks like he was just explaining that he wanted to do the right thing, basically. Joel. That's hilarious.
You don't remember the fact that I was a state wrestling champion, and on the off season, I was a starting linebacker. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
We are laughing out loud at that. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, it is a little bit unusual, John, for him to, for someone not to seek power, instead put the welfare of the country and his party ahead of personal ambition. You really don't see that much anymore, do you now?
Short old man. I'm average height. I'm 5'8". That's average, I know. I'm not tall. But that shit right there. That's for real.
Well, that's pretty.
That muscle. Flexion.
That's pretty glamorous. He's doing that for the good of the party, but I think it's more the fact that people close to him told him it was time to get out. I don't think he's doing it no more for the good of the party.
Well, yeah, I don't think he's doing it. I don't think it's, to be honest with you, I don't think he did it for the good of the party either. I think that he was pretty much forced out especially when the donors started withholding funds. I mean,
that'll do it.
I didn't drink that.
Yeah. Well, it's, but then why didn't they let him run? The party obviously didn't want him running, and all these people lined up behind him.
No, they didn't want him to run. They knew he couldn't beat Trump. Maybe Harris can, but I hope not.
Well, the polls are very, very close. In fact, they're conflicting. One has Harris ahead, one has Trump ahead. So, and both of them are within the margin of error, basically calling it a dead heat right now. It'd be interesting to see if Trump wants to debate her. They had another Trump-Biden debate scheduled. We'll see what happens here.
I don't think she'd debate him. I think she'd back out of that.
I'm sorry,
Trump
I missed
will
it.
gladly debate her.
Oh, no. She's already said that she's ready to debate him. She was the prosecuting attorney, and she said she is ready to prosecute Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah.
And she's going to waylay his ass on a debate because, I mean, say what you want about Trump. We all know I don't like him. But, he's got some stuff that he actually got accomplished when he was the president. But when he gets in, he's got stuff he can talk about. But the problem is he's going against a professional speaker that will just light him up. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about it. Really am.
Well, Trump can talk. Trump can talk. He did it for 92 minutes the other night. But if you took out the repetition of it, if you took out the repetitions of what he said, it would have gone about 32 minutes.
And if you took out the 38 lies, no, 28 lies he said, it'd have gone about 3 minutes.
I don't know about that.
Well, that's politicians are like to hear themselves talk.
Yeah, but no, that was proven, William. 28 bald-faced lies he told in that debate. 28. But the press, which is on the Republican side, are covering up for him, and they're not saying anything about it. Have you seen anything in the news on any channel about 28 lies in a presidential debate, which has got to be a world record? I mean, who the hell?
Yeah, well,
that's amazing.
If you're Fox News, you probably didn't cover it. Probably didn't mention it much, but ABC, particularly their correspondent Jonathan Karl, you can, every time he talks about Trump, you can just see the venom leaking out of his eyes. He doesn't like the man at all. So you can say the media is slanted one way or the other, but everybody's going to have a shot at this.
No, the media is liberal. Maybe not Fox, but the media is big time liberal.
I don't know if I'd consider it liberal. I would consider it more independent. As a
No, I
news
wouldn't think it's
agency
independent.
As a news agency should be.
As it used to be.
As it used to be. Well, when Walter Cronkite, David Brinkley, Chet Huntley, Dan Rather, all those guys weren't doing the news, you knew it was the news. It wasn't their opinion. The only station that I watch, which I don't watch very often, that I think is extremely liberal is NBC. The NBC's liberal, cut and dry. But ABC, I don't think they're that. I don't think they're liberal at all. And CBS is kind of between liberal and independent. But ABC is they're pretty well.
They're fairly moderate.
They're moderate. They're
ABC's
straight up
fairly-
down.
Yeah.
They just give
They're
the
fairly
news.
moderate,
I mean,
which is what we should get.
although we only get 16 minutes of news in that 30-minute time spot. And
Oh
I
yeah,
love
and
it.
boy, have you seen how they backload the commercials in the last 15 minutes?
oh yeah, the last 15
They'll-
minutes they'll talk for
You get about 30
they'll-
seconds.
30 seconds. Then you get 8 commercials. Then you get talking for about 1 minute or less, and then you get another 8 commercials, and then you have the index or the beginning, the ending of the show, and they tell some good feel-good story about somebody that you just don't give a shit about. I want to hear the news. I don't want to hear
Oh
about
no, I like that segment. America's strong. Are you kidding me? That's a great segment. It's positive news.
Yeah. I want to hear the
I
news.
love those segments
wanna,
like that.
I want to know what's going on out there. I don't want to know about somebody. I don't know.
Well, then just
Maybe I'm just in a mood tonight. Who knows?
subscribe to Reuters and the Associated Press. I think you are. Of course, that's not unusual.
Democrats will now be able
All right.
to mobilize the base that will register voters and bring them to the polls. I think that the Democrats have been revitalized and are excited and fired up, and I think they're going to blow the doors off of them now. I think this is exactly what they needed, and I think this is all decided. And that's when President Biden said, okay, let's do it. Because it's going to revitalize us. We're going to get a lot of money come in all of a sudden. I mean, in the polls,
she's
it's
raised
dead even.
She's raised $100 million. She raised $81 million in the first day after it was determined that Biden had stepped down.
Yeah.
$100 million. I don't know about
crazy.
that's a pretty good chunk of change to anybody. Even Bill Gates wouldn't sneeze at $100 million.
No.
But you
That's
know,
a
you know
shame
what this is
too.
going to
That we
also
got
do.
people excited for that. She's done nothing
But
in her
what this is
political
also gonna-
career. Name one thing
This
she's
is going to
done.
also energize the Republicans too.
Well, it needs to. They better get the butts in gear. Because there's enough numbskulls out there that think Kamala Harris can run this country, and she can.
Oh,
We're going to be in a world of her. She'll be worse than Biden. I'd rather have Biden in there.
The only reason you want Biden in there is so you think you can beat him in the election. You ain't gonna
No,
beat Kamala.
I'd rather have Biden because
You know one thing I like about Kamala more than anything? I mean, all her accomplishments. She started off as a prosecutor for the city of San Francisco, and then she went on to be the attorney general for California. Then she went to being a senator from California. The one thing that really, I watched a documentary about her the other day because I wanted to know about her too, more than I do know. And the one thing that I noticed is that the fact that she made some mistakes. She made some mistakes. A big one was the 3 times in your out law that California had. She said after it had happened for a while that this was a mistake. She came out and she said, I made a mistake. And something else she did as when she was working for San Francisco as the Attorney General there. She said, I made a mistake. How many times have you heard Trump say, I made a mistake? How many times?
I don't recall, but I'm not exactly an expert.
I don't recall. That's the perfect answer because there ain't no calling to it because he ain't never said, I'm sorry, I did the wrong thing. Oh, by the way, inject yourself with bleach. You know, we're not going to ever forget that. You know, he really
Most
blew
people aren't stupid
COVID.
enough to do that.
Yeah, but he blew COVID. I mean, he made it a lot worse than it was. Oh, it's going to be gone in a month. It's not a big deal. It'll be gone in a month. That's a quote.
I don't know about that.
No, I do. And then that was 1 million people died after he made that quote. First time ever Dems are allowed to say they need a white man on the ticket and it's not demonstration. Discrimination. Ha! This is true.
Oh, it's going to be a white man.
Pretty good observation there.
Did she even pass the bar?
No. Well,
Yeah. She was the Attorney
Yeah,
General for
I
the
think
state
she
of California. I'm thinking they checked that out pretty good. If Donald, 5. Not sure what that means.
Oh, fine.
That's a new one. Well, you know, the bottom line is it's a new day in the Republican Party and the Democratic
yeah,
Party.
it's a new ball game. It's a new ball
Total
game.
new ball
that's for
game.
sure.
It definitely threw a damn curveball to the Republicans, and the Democrats. It seems like they've hit a home run. When you get $100 million in 2 days given to you, you did something right. You had to. Anyway, let's go on to yeah, there they are. Kamala and Joe. Voter registration. Well, you know, this bill, which is pretty much dead now, that came out, and we were talking about, and we said we would talk about this. The only problem I got with this bill, and it makes a lot of sense in a lot of ways, and I don't have a problem with it. What I think is that the only issue I have with it is in Georgia, you can go to vote and show your driver's license. It ain't like that in every state. And the problem is that they're trying to make it to where you have to show a form of ID that shows your date of birth. What that's going to do is limit people going to vote that don't have a birth certificate, that can't find their birth certificate, that are too lazy to get their birth certificate. They're not going to have it. And what it's going to do is it's going to suppress voters. And probably minorities mostly. So it's going to be a Democrat situation.
It's going to hurt the Democrats, and therefore they're against it. Whereas common sense tells you that you need to be an American citizen to vote.
Yeah, but you know what? My solution to this problem is to make it to where on your driver's license, you have to make it a federal law that you have to have your place of birth on there. And if you're born in...
Well, that doesn't work because some people are American citizens that weren't born in the United States.
Yeah, but if you weren't born in the United States and you're a citizen, it's got to have on there somewhere that you're a citizen.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I do not think and I do not believe that if you're not a citizen of this country, you should not be able to vote. That is a right of a citizen of the United States. It's not
and look, you got to show your ID in a whole bunch of different places. You got to show your ID to buy booze.
Yeah, but they want to. They want an ID that says you were born in the United States. Where's your place of birth? Mine's Atlanta, Georgia. Well, it doesn't say anywhere on my license that.
But you got a birth certificate, don't you?
Yeah, but I want to
Right.
be able to whip out my driver's license and show it to them like I've been doing my whole life, and be able to sign in and go vote. If you make it to where you got all these other things, you won't even be able to use your license in the state of Georgia to vote. You'll have to have your birth certificate. Now,
Well, that can be
how's
found.
how's that going to work, though? They're going to have to sit there
I think
Well,
it's too
unfold-
short of a fuse on this deal. I think that's something to look for the future. Make it in 3 years. You got to have your birth certificate to get your driver's license, and if you don't get a driver's license, you get an ID card at the same place. It costs about $10.
Why can't they just put a stamp on their license?
That's what I'm talking about.
Citizen
Yeah,
of the United
that's what I'm
States.
talking about. But you got to have a birth certificate for that.
Well, then between you and me, I think we got this crisis solved to where
But they can't get that done by this election.
no, but by
gonna
next
have to be.
election, I agree with you. Got to have your
Well-
your birth certificate to get a license, and your license should have born in USA, citizen, or whatever.
The fact is, though, we're spending a whole bunch of time on something that almost never happens, at least in the scale enough to change the outcome of an election. All this, don't you know that after this last election, where they went over all of these results with the ultra fine tooth comb, and they found some instances of people doing what they weren't supposed to do. Like if you looked at it long enough, you could find that in just about anything. But the fact is, it was not nearly enough, not even close to changing any kind of a result. Widespread voter fraud on the scale that some people allege just doesn't happen.
Well, let me see.
I
Andrea.
think they're talking about people that voted that weren't even registered to vote.
Well, I can't do that. They check me 6 ways to Sunday when I go to vote, and some of them even know who I am. They still check you on the roll and ask for an ID. This is a tempest in a teapot, as far as I'm concerned. You got an ID, okay.
Andrea, the law says you can't use your driver's license. I didn't get that from reading it. Where on there does it say you can use your driver's license? That's the problem, is the fact that ensuring only citizens are registered to vote in an election for federal office. There's nowhere under, let's see, A, definition of document proof of United States citizenship. B, document proof of United States citizenship. United States Military Record of Service, or DD 214 is what that is. A valid government issued photo identification card by federal, state, or tribal government showing that the applicant's place of birth was in the United States. That's what the license is your state.
See, there's all kinds of loopholes in it.
Number 4.
There's loopholes in that, though. Two American citizens who are living in Great Britain, and if you have a child born there, it's still an American citizen because you were born to American citizen. What if your
That's
driver's
right.
license, your ID card says born in London? Oh my God, are you not a? Well, no, my mom and dad are Americans, and they were serving at the embassy over there, or my dad was in the military, and my mom was with him on the base, born in Wiesbaden in Germany, but they're still an American citizen.
Yeah,
They
well,
might
need to
also
get
be-
that. They've got a different. They've got
Have a dual citizenship.
No, they don't have a dual citizenship. They're American citizens, and they've got that on a what word I'm looking for? Proof of citizenship. So they're okay. I'm not talking about that many people anyway, but still, they've got proof that they're American citizens.
Well, maybe there's a box that you put on the new renewal of license citizen check. No matter
Well,
where
not
they were
on
born,
driver's
they're American
license.
citizens.
Driver's license don't do anything. We need something that does put on the driver's license or a passport or some other kind of ID that's government issued where you are an American citizen or a naturalized American citizen. That's the word I'm looking for, I guess.
Yeah, well, I've got one of those real IDs now. By the way, your new driver's license does your ID picture in black and white now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just renewed
I
mine.
didn't know that. I got one of them real IDs too, but that doesn't prove you're a citizen. It just proves that you live in Georgia.
You can vote with that ID. If it's a real ID, you can vote with it.
Yeah, and you can fly with it too.
Yeah, you can fly. But if you want to go to another country, you got to get a passport.
True. I got one of those too.
I don't have one
I've
of
been to
those.
other
I don't
countries.
plan on leaving the country anytime soon.
I've been to Europe, Canada, and South America. I got a passport.
Well, I've been to Canada and Mexico and Europe too, but I didn't need a passport.
I've been to Spain and Italy, and I didn't have a passport.
Yeah, but you were in the military.
Yeah, well, yeah, they didn't ask us for anything.
No.
All they asked us was, "You want another drink, sir?"
Well, whatever the Republicans come up with, the Democrats are going to shoot down anyway. So it's really a moot point whether we talk about this. I think it's a good idea that you are a citizen and you have to be a citizen to vote.
I absolutely agree with you.
I think it's a good idea that you have to be a citizen to live in the United States, unless you're on some kind of work visa or something. All these people that come in here illegally, they need to be booted out. Shouldn't get any ID, no real ID.
I absolutely agree with you on that point as well, William. I don't think that.
We'll make you a Republican sooner or later.
Well, that's why I'm an independent, because I don't like either one of them. I think they're all full of shit. So that's why I'm an independent. I'm in the not full of shit party. Yeah,
I don't know about that.
Well, I might be in that party too.
I'm an independent, but I'm on the extremes on both ends. When it comes to ecology, I am an extreme liberal. I think they're screwing our planet up in a big way, and they're doing it fast. We'll come up to that part in just a minute. When it comes to the military, I'm extremely conservative. I think we ought to have the largest military, the most advanced military, and it shouldn't be
Well, you
close.
better not vote Democrat then. You better not vote for Democrats if you want military. I can tell you stories on the military.
Oh, I know. Bill Clinton shut down McPherson. So, yeah, I remember that. I won't forget it.
Well, they changed the names of all these forts. They gutted the payments to the military so that our equipment is obsolete almost. There's all kind of stuff that the Democrats have done to the military.
I think our military is still pretty damn nasty.
Yeah, it's pretty good, but it's only there because they got individuals in the ranks that keep it that way. But the hierarchy, the upper level of the hierarchy, Biden, Kamala Harris, have gutted the thing. You need to ask people, call some general or something.
Show me some facts on that. Show me some facts on that.
I'll see if I can get some up.
I'm on next week. I'm gonna ask you about it. Tell me some facts how they screwed up the military, because I got in an argument with somebody online recently that was dogging the Biden, saying he'd screwed up the VA and all that shit.
Well, I don't know about that now.
I do.
I'm talking about active duty.
I'm a vet, and I use the VA as my primary health care. I'm pretty damn healthy. You know.
You better be
And,
glad.
They pretty well take care of me. You know. I mean, I have regular checkups. I get all my medicine through from them. If I got to have an MRI or a CAT scan or anything like that, I go to the VA. They take care of. They've been taking care of me for years, and it hadn't got a whole lot better or a whole lot worse or a whole lot of nothing. It's been pretty much the same through the past 3 presidents. I will say Obama definitely made it better. Trump didn't do shit. Biden hadn't done a whole lot. But the only president where I noticed a change at the VA for the much better was when President Obama was in office. And thank you, President Obama, for doing that.
Was that on a fallout of Obamacare, you think?
I don't think so. I think he just said, let's fix the VA. It's all screwed up. Because before he came into office, it was really bad. The SAVE Act is bogus. All the states require voters to be citizens. There's no need for a federal law. It's just grandstanding by the Republicans. That is probably the truth about all of this. John Cone. John is typing in because his microphone is giving him problems, or his background, or he's at a something. We're not sure where he is. He looks like his head is melted into the ceiling, so we're just kind of guessing where he is right now. So he's going to have to talk.
I think he's at Porky's.
Porky's.
Yeah, that's where John is.
You talking about like the movie Porky's?
Yeah. That's
John.
exactly where John Cone is.
We're fixing to go into another topic here, guys. I think we've rocked this one pretty good and got all our thoughts out. Second, sorry week schedule. Signal. Okay. All right, let's go on to our next part that we want to discuss tonight in this special edition, and that is global warming. What is global warming? It's the current rise in the average temperature of Earth's air and oceans. Global warming is often described as the most recent example of climate change. And to back up that statement about getting warmer, last Sunday was Earth's hottest day in all recorded history. That's before Jesus was here. Like,
well, wait a minute now.
Dinosaurs and whatnot, you know. Since that time,
recorded history.
Recorded history, William. The Bible's the most recorded thing, oldest recorded thing that we got that makes any sense.
Global records began in 1850.
Okay, since 1850, last Sunday was Earth's hottest day in all recorded history. European Climate Agency says last year was the hottest in the history since 1856, or whatever the hell it was they started recording these things. It's obvious that our planet is almost going to catch on fire.
Well, last year was the warmest year since global records began in 1850 at 1.18 degrees Celsius. That's 2.12 degrees Fahrenheit, above the 20th century average of 57 degrees Fahrenheit. So last year was the warmest year on record since 1850. Not all time.
Well, I saw a stat that said since 1901, global temperatures have increased about 2 degrees since 1901 on average. So that's a little over 100 years now. Total, yes. Arctic and Antarctic though, increases about twice as fast. The average temperature is there. Sea
Well,
levels.
there's no doubt that we're going through a period of warming up.
Yeah. And the sea levels.
So there are two things contributing to the warming that we're experiencing, and one of them is there is a natural climate change happening, and it's compounded by man-made climate change. And William's right, we have recorded data going back to the 1800s, but we have ice samples going back for hundreds of thousands of years that show us CO2 levels in the atmosphere, for example, and you can see that those are going up, and they're going that the Earth's temperature is increasing right along with it. It's directly correlated because we're increasing greenhouse gases. And the discussion about, what's causing it is kind of interesting, and it's good science to know what's happening, but the big question is what's going to happen and what are we going to do about it, because the impacts to our climate and to our earth are happening. They're already in motion. There's not a lot we can do to stop them. We're going to be able to maybe bend the curve a little bit. So how do we adapt to rising sea levels, drought where we've never had drought, major temperature differences in locations all around the world? All these things are going to happen. We have to figure out how to slow it down, like I said, bend the curve, and adapt to it. And I don't think anyone is saying, we have to stop burning all fossil fuels like tomorrow. That would be nice, but even if we stopped tomorrow, it wouldn't make any difference. It wouldn't make enough difference in the near term to matter to our grandkids or their kids. Because this will be fully happening by 2100. So by the time our grandkids are our age, it'll be here.
Well, some of the effects of climate change, I got a list over here, are hotter temperatures. As greenhouse gas concentrations rise, so does the global surface temperature. More severe storms. We're talking bigger tornadoes, bigger hurricanes, and faster for both of them. Bigger snowstorms, any kind of weather-related situation you think of that's been really bad, like Katrina, was a 4 or a 5. We're going to have 6s and 7s coming up pretty soon. Increased drought, a warming, rising ocean. See ya, Florida. We don't like you anyway. California, you're going to fall off anyway eventually, so you're gone too. Most of New York City will be underwater. Loss of species. We have a lot of species right now that are dying off, and we're losing many, many species and doing it on a regular basis. If you don't believe that, go out in your yard and look for lightning bugs. See how many you see now. When we were kids, you walk out in the yard and it looked like a festival going on with lightning bugs. There were so many. And this is 30 years later, 40 years later, and you're lucky if you see a lightning bug now. And that's just in the last 30, 40 years. Do you imagine when it's going to be like in 100? There won't
Where's
be
the
any.
cicadas? I hadn't seen a cicada.
Oh, I got one. I got a picture of one.
How many have you seen? Is that
Landed
one?
up-
I've heard them.
We're eat up with them up here.
Really? I guess
I've
we got lucky.
I've heard them in the
You sure
Back
they're
to my
cicadas and not tree
Well,
frogs?
No, this is cicadas because I got one.
I know you, Bill, but
Yeah.
Gary.
I think it's coming up the
I
east side of the state.
I don't think it's tree frogs.
All right.
These are definitely cicadas. There are a bunch of them here.
I haven't seen a single one. They usually
Well-
are on their tree. Their carcasses are left as they shed their skin.
Back to the list. Not enough food. There's people starving to death already. In Africa, it is an immense problem, and it's getting worse daily because they don't have any rain. They can't grow anything. More health risk, which coincides with that as well. You get more health risk when you have drought and when you don't have not enough food, and you have bad storms that wipe out crops. Poverty and displacement. It all points to that. It's like a cone coming down. It all comes down and it creates, all that creates poverty and displacement. Because their farm got wiped out by a flood that was 10 times more than we thought it should be, or that it's been in the past. That's the problem.
Well, here's the deal. You got to have the will to do certain things. Do you know how much the air and water got better during COVID? A lot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because people weren't driving.
That's right. That's right. In fact, except for COVID, all the other instances of disease started to go down once people started masking up and things like that. So you see, we can make an impact if we want to, but you got to have the will to do that and follow up on it. Imagine what would happen if everybody who commuted long distances found themselves ride share, one or two people. Well, simple math will tell you that that's going to reduce the volume of traffic on the road by at least a third, maybe a half.
Well, you drive out of Atlanta.
But we just don't want to do that.
On a daily basis in traffic, and you look around you and you see how many people have 3 or 4 people in the car.
None.
One out of 20.
None. Yeah. I guarantee
I did my
you
part.
if I had to commute
I rode with my
Atlanta
fellow
every day.
umpire tonight.
There you go.
Well, there you go, William.
I'm telling you, if I had to do that every day, I'd be like the Blondie comic strip, where Dagwood and Herb Woodley and a couple of more people ride to work every day. That'd be me.
Yeah.
I'd find myself at least one other person to ride with, maybe 2 or 3, if I had to do that every day. Cuts down expense. Price of gas would go down. I mean, all kinds of benefits. We're just too stupid to do that. I don't know why. I just don't know why. A lot of things would happen if we cooperated with one another.
Yeah. Well, that's a bleak outlook there on global warming. I don't know what we can do.
Well, the glaciers are melted. The Arctic ice has decreased about 40-something%. Some of the thickness of some of the glaciers have gone down by 60 feet. That's a measurable statistic. That's not something people make up. Right now, the average ocean level is risen about 6 inches, which can make a difference if you got a high tide or storm surge. But overall, not so much. But it's kind of like when you go into a room. You remember Coach Keene used to do this as an example. You go into a room and there's you and somebody else comes in. You say, well, there's plenty of room in this room. But the deal is that every 5 minutes, the amount of people in the room, more come in that exact amount. And you're doing pretty good till the room is half full, right? Well, you still got plenty of room in the room. But then what happens now? Well, that equal number comes in, right? So things become a geometric rather than an arithmetic progression. And that's why we're worried about some of these things that are starting to cascade. Oh yeah, we can do things about this. We can make smarter decisions. We can tackle some of these problems, but we just gotta want to. It's the same principle of finding the will to do things. What is the will to do? What are you gonna do? Okay. Well, I got to get in shape. Well, you're not gonna get in shape by sitting on the couch eating Cheetos.
Really?
Do something. Yeah. Well, you might get in Cheeto shape. You know, you have that orange
Cheeto
stuff all
shape.
over your fingers. Yeah. But other than that, so people got to make up their minds to do something about this. Otherwise, nothing's going to happen. That's why we depend on the government, the nanny state, to keep bailing us out of stuff, making us quit doing stupid crap. No.
Yeah, California's big in that. They won't even.
Oh, yeah. Well, my youngest son, as you know, lives in California. And what finally may drive him out, he loves it. He loves the lifestyle and all out there. But what may finally drive him out of it is that it's expensive to live in California. Price of everything is ridiculous. You can't buy a house. You get that. You have a little house like I live, like me and my wife, and we don't have any butts because it's just us. But Mason says out there, a little house like this would probably cost you $500,000, and that's just in horrible shape. You have to spend another $200,000 to fix it up. So now you got, for a 1,600 square foot house, you got upwards of $750,000 in it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Like in Oregon, you can't mow your grass and weed eat after 10 o'clock in the morning. Keep the pollution down and whatever. And also the hazard of fire.
Well, yeah, out there, that's a real danger. Burn the whole state of California down. Not careful.
Yeah, there's fires going on right now in California.
Wildfires, earthquakes, mudslides. Yeah, come live in California. No, thank you.
How about that explosion there in Yellowstone?
Yeah, well, Yellowstone sits on a volcano anyway.
It is a volcano.
It's a
super volcano. Well, they had one blow yesterday. Blowing stuff up in the air.
Up in Yellowstone.
I saw that, yeah. Well, that might be a solution to global warming right there. Back in 1815, there was an explosion that took most of an island in the South Seas with it. And by the next year, the global temperature had dropped so that there was snow in Virginia in the month of June. It was the year without a summer, 1816. Look it up. Not making this up.
Yeah, I know.
What happened? So much stuff got thrown into the upper atmosphere. It cut off a lot of the sunlight reaching the earth.
Well, they say that Yellowstone has the potential that it's the lava pit or whatever's under it is so humongous that it could blow a hole to where it would affect this whole country. It would shut this country down. It would end modern times in this country and put us back in the Stone Age.
It might
if
might end
Yellowstone
it
ever
around the
explodes.
world.
I mean, that could
There's
be
a lot of this country that's sitting on top of a volcano.
It's said the one below Yellowstone is
it's huge.
It's huge, and it's a scary thing when one of them pops like that. That hadn't done that in about 20 years.
Missouri sits on a volcano, doesn't it, William?
I'm not sure. I know they got fault lines.
An old extinct volcano, or dormant, I guess I should say is the word, right?
Well, the bottom line is, folks, if we're going to do anything about climate change, we need to do it. And we need to quit messing around. And you need to pay attention. It's not a something that somebody's made up. This is real. The icebergs and the Arctic are melting. And they're coming down in the sea. And when one of those chunks of ice falls off, it's like the city of New York dropping off. I mean, they're that big. And we got to do something now, or we're gonna pay for it in the near future. I think. Well, guys, I think we pretty much covered tonight in this special edition. And let's see what John had to say here before we. We're behind it. We are behind, and we need to catch up.
Where'd he go?
I don't know.
He said he has having connection problems. So I don't. Can you leave that up, Bill? I can't.
We're behind the curve. We will be at the tipping point for global average temperature right now. We are going to have to adapt. A lot of damage has been done. Well,
That's scary.
the idea of growing some summer tomatoes, it's going to get tougher and tougher for us down south. You know, like this year we went a month and a half without rain, and it didn't destroy my garden, but it really put a hurt on it. Wiped out my corn.
Your corn needs a lot of water.
So it took my corn out.
Didn't-
I was
didn't-
watering.
didn't-
What are we gonna say, Gary?
I just said it did a number on my daylilies. I think they bloomed like once or twice, and then they just burned up.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I got a big old bush in my front of my yard. I can't think of the name of it. It's got big white flowers. A gardenia. We've got a gardenia in our front yard, and it's puts out these flowers that are amazing. You can smell them on the other side of the yard.
Oh, yeah.
And they all bloom this year, and they all looking beautiful. And then we got that 3 weeks, and it killed all of them. So our gardenia crop just did not exist this year. I heard a pop, so that must be John's back.
There he is.
Well, guys, let's go to one other part of the show. We're coming up on our time limit. Right now.
Yeah.
Now, let me get rid of that. What the hell? Can't figure out how to get that comment down.
There you go.
There we go. It's a good thing it's our show because we can do it the way we want to.
Right.
We're about done.
We are. Here we are at our finishing remarks, guys. This has been a special edition to Intelligent Ramblings. We thought it was so important that we covered the what's going on with our current political process, the voter registration that people had asked about, that we should cover it. We wanted to cover it in its entirety, and we did. And global warming, which is an alarming problem that if we don't do something about it soon, our grandchildren will suffer. We'll be fine. We'll be dead and gone before it really hits. But our our grandchildren will pay for it.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah, it's a scary world we're going to try to leave them. I'll tell you that. I've got grandsons, and I worry about them all the time.
Do we have any?
You know,
Yeah.
John, sorry for the gloomy outlook tonight. Well, it's a
well,
gloomy out.
let me give you a let me give you a positive thing. Let me give you a positive thing. I want to thank you for all the thoughts and prayers on behalf of my much loved nephew Sid, who was about that close to dying. He is home now and eating solid food. How about that?
All right.
Thank you. I
That is
appreciate
a
it.
positive thing.
And that's something that I celebrate tonight. And I want to thank everybody who prayed for Sid and all the thoughts and good wishes that came his way. And if something good has happened coming out of this, is he's going to change his lifestyle, I think, for the better and the healthier.
Gentlemen, I appreciate it. I appreciate the work you put into this. And I guess we will see everybody next week when we go back to our regular time at 8 p.m. And hope everybody has a good week.
Well, thank you.
See you. Same to you.
Goodbye, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Good night.